Hey guys, and welcome back to Live, Laugh, Love Lesbian, a podcast for the girlies, the gays, and the theys. Now guys, that might be the last time you hear me call the podcast that, because basically I'm going through a bit of I don't really know what to call it. I'm calling it a crisis. I don't know if it's quite a crisis, if I'm being maybe a bit dramatic. But I've just been having a think about how I can really up-level and upscale the podcast, because you guys know I'm so passionate about it, and I literally want to make this my full-time job in the future, doing the podcast. And I'm just trying to think the best way to go forward with that. Obviously, you guys know I've been trying to create a broadcast channel for the Instagram for the podcast for literally months, if not more than months. 6 months. So literally since I started the podcast, I've wanted a broadcast channel. But Instagram hasn't let me create one until a few days ago. So I created it and I was thinking, what could the name be? And then the name The Lesbian Lounge came to me. I thought it's quite cute for the little broadcast channel, because it's sort of like the lounge. It's like the chill place where we can all just come, make friends and have a chit chat. So if you haven't joined The Lesbian Lounge, come and join. But then I was thinking, hang on, I really like that name. Should I change the name of the podcast? Which is obviously a huge, massive, big decision to make, because I've sort of built this, I want to say a brand around Live, Laugh, Love Lesbian, but that's what you guys know the podcast as. People search for it, when you Google it, that's what comes up, the podcast comes up, and I don't want to then, almost shoot myself in the foot by changing the name, and people be searching Live, Laugh, Love Lesbian and they can't find it, and then they just find the podcast that basically took the name, even though they just changed one letter and added an S on the end of lesbians, but we're not saying more on that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm in a complete crisis. I think it is a crisis. I don't know what's the best thing to do. I've spoken to my management, I've spoken to my family. I literally brought it to Instagram. I actually didn't check to see what the final score was on the poll. Shall we have a look? Because obviously your guys' opinion means the most to me. You are the ones who are listening to the podcast and interacting with it. So I want to do what will make you guys enjoy the podcast. So let me find. Okay, so where does it tell me the percentage? It's just telling me how many. Oh, there is a percentage. So 36% said keep Live, Laugh, Love Lesbian. 64% said rebrand to The Lesbian Lounge. So I'm going to try and tell you guys my pros and cons, and then please text me what you think of the new name ideas, because like I said, this podcast is for you guys, so I want you guys to get as much out of it as you can. So I want you guys to really enjoy it. So if you think the name's shit, please tell me. But yeah, so with The Lesbian Lounge, it's obviously a little bit shorter of a name, and with the lesbian being near at the start, I feel algorithm wise that might help people find it, if they search a lesbian podcast, because lesbian's right at the start of it, it might come up sooner. I also think it's maybe a little bit classier. I'm not really a classy person, but I don't know, I just think The Lesbian Lounge, it sounds a bit more sophisticated, a bit classy than Live, Laugh, Love Lesbian. What are my other pros and cons? I can't really, to be fair, I love both names, and even if I do change the name, I want to try and keep Live, Laugh, Love Lesbian having it needs some form of life within the podcast, whether it's just the tagline of the podcast, whether we have a segment every week, which is the Live, Laugh, Love Lesbian segment. I don't really know how it would work. I need to ask ChatGPT what they think. Or come to Instagram again. But yeah, I don't really know what I'm going down. And sort of another reason that spurred on this change, obviously we got the broadcast channel, which I am thrilled about. So come and join. I think we have about 35 members already, which is insane. And I've been sharing some little behind the scenes exclusives. So in the broadcast channel this week, I put a poll in where you guys could vote for the question of the week, which I've gone with the majority vote for the question of the week. So there's going to be some little exclusives in there for the podcast. They were the first people I sort of came to about the possible name change. And another thing that sort of sparked the idea for the name change is I have had some photo updates done. So the current photo logo for the podcast, it is a professional photo. I got it done at Candid Studios in London, which is a self-portrait studio. So you've got a little clicker in your hands, you snap the clicker and take the photos. And I'm obsessed with the photo. I love the logo, but I did a photo shoot the other day and took some updated shots, and I was hang on, these would work so well with the podcast. And I feel I think you'll know when you see the photos, but the photos are giving the Lesbian Lounge. They're giving that vibe. Like, I'm not sat on like a sofa or anything like that, but I don't know, it's just, I feel like they're giving that more like classy, sophisticated vibe. That's just what I think. And like, you know, I've had like different opinions from everyone. Some people are like, absolutely don't change and you stick, like, you know, you're building that brand with Live, Laugh, Love Lesbian. But then I also think that is like, it is Live, Laugh, Love is a commonly said phrase. So, you know, I'm not unique in that. Obviously there is that other podcast. There's a book called Live, Laugh Lesbian, and there's other things that sort of are like, you can buy, there's t-shirts everywhere with like Live, Laugh Lesbian on, which is obviously brilliant, but it means I'm sort of like not as niche with that name because there's other things out there. But with the Lesbian Lounge, there is literally nothing else. I have really done my research. I think there's one TikTok couple that are called like Lesbian Lounge, but they literally don't post anything about being a lesbian lounge. They're just like two lesbians who have named their TikTok account that. Like, there's nothing like podcasty with the Lesbian Lounge out there. So yeah, I am in a bit of a crisis just deciding what I think's best. That's why I'm not like jumping straight into the name change. I really need to like sit and figure out what is best for the podcast. I think will be a pretty smooth transition if I do. I don't like, none of the previous episodes will go away. Everything will stay exactly as it is and exactly where it is on, you know, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. I think it will literally just be that the name will change. So it'll still be on your like Apple podcast downloads. Like, you know how you can like save your shows? It will still all be there. It just means when you search Live, Laugh, Love Lesbian podcast, it would not be that anymore. It would now be the Lesbian Lounge podcast. And I also just quite like the idea of like the Lesbian Lounge, and obviously I've mentioned to you guys before about wanting to make my own little like podcast studio or rent out a podcast studio, and I think we could like sort of deck it out really nicely and make it like the Lesbian Lounge, and have like a lounge that I sit on to record the episodes in, and just make it like that little like safe space, and like our little community is the Lesbian Lounge. And you know, even look in the future, like I've spoken with the girlies and the gays and the theys on the broadcast channel about having some meetups, and we can, you know, try and like align where we do the meetups like with like the sort of branding and the like vibes of the Lesbian Lounge, if that makes any sense. I feel like I've rambled to you all so much about that, but please, honestly, I won't be offended if you message me and say, I think this name's shit, I think you should do this, I think you should stick with that, I think you should change that, I think that's much better than Live, Laugh, Love Lesbian. Like, I'm so open to the feedback, because I'm going to say it again, this podcast is for you guys. It wouldn't be what it is without you guys. So please let me know your opinions, because again, like I'm just rambling on again now, but it's so difficult to like make that decision to change the name and then potentially risk everything I've built this podcast up to be so far, because again, I don't think anyone's really going to stop listening because the name's changed, because realistically, like, it is just a name at the end of the day. Like, the actual podcast itself, the format, everything like that is going to stay the same. It will just be the fact that it will be under a different name. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going. I think when I get the like edited photos back from the photo shoot, because I've had a sneak peek at them, I think when I get them back, I'm going to like play around with some logos and see what I think looks better, and then go from there. So yeah, this might be the last week you are listening to Live, Laugh, Love Lesbian, but we will still be here either as Live, Laugh, Love Lesbian or the Lesbian Lounge podcast. I don't quite know just yet, but whatever the name is, I hope you guys will stick with me along the way, because it's still the same little old me chatting with you all, same format, dilemmas, question of the weeks, all that good stuff, just under a different name and possibly a different background as well. I'm trying to think if I have anything else to update you guys on, because I've rambled about the name of the podcast for nearly 10 minutes now. Yeah, obviously the broadcast channel, I'll show the visual girlies. Oh my god, guys, the Lioness Squad is here. I feel like I've just opened Instagram to find the broadcast channel. Who have we got? Mary Ipps, Hannah Hampton, Anna Morehouse, Millie Bright, Lucy Bronze, Jess Carter, Neve Charles, Maya Letitia, Esme Morgan, Millie Turner, Leah Williamson, Lotta Wubbenboy, Laura Blinkinder Brown, I always say that wrong, Grace Clinton, Ruby Mace, Jess Park, Ella Toon, Kira Walsh, Aggie Beaver Jones, Lauren James, Nikita Paris. Oh my god, she's not been called up in ages. Wow, that's good. Beth Mead, Jess Naz, Alessia Russo. Oh my god, where's Chloe Kelly? Where's Chloe Kelly? What the hell? That is cray. Anyway, I'm showing all the Lesbian Lounge, aren't I? Where is it? I literally messaged it before. Oh, here it is. So this is what it looks like. It's really cute. So obviously there's been messages in there, and you can actually reply to the messages as well in there, but they're on like, they don't come up in the main chat, they come up as like a little side reply chat. And also, if you are in the lesbian lounge, I have given you all a little thing to put at the start of your dilemmas or questions or anything that you send in, so I can guarantee I read it out, because, you know, we don't get loads sent in. I could always do with more sent in, but sometimes I can't physically fit everything we get sent in into one episode. So I've said, if you put this, I'm not going to tell you all, because if you're not in the group chat, you don't get the exclusive. You've got to join the group chat to see. But yeah, I've given you all a little like a little thing to say at the start of your dilemma or whatever submission you put in, so that I can guarantee that I read it out for you guys. Because I also can't see who's like in the group chat. Like, you click on people, and the only people you can see is my account and then the podcast's Instagram, because I added them as a collaborator. So that's all that we've got so far. Yeah, come and join the broadcast channel. I really don't think I've done anything else super exciting. I'll tell you one thing, it's got nothing to do with the podcast, but it's just cute. I went to an event on Saturday. It was like a little charm bar pop-up at Flora Rose shop in Usbin, and I'm wearing my little bracelet now, and I just think it's so cute. So you've got like a little cherry on there, a little lightning bolt, some like love hearty things, and the bracelet is not giving lesbian at all, but I don't know, I just think it's cute. And I'm loving cherries at the minute. I've got cherries on my bracelet, cherries on my phone case, cherries on my earrings. I'm just a cherry girl. And also this jumper I'm wearing, chaotic but iconic, that was from the same shop, from Flora Rose, and it's from a brand called It Girls. And I feel like, am I not just living up to the name of this jumper right now? Chaotic but iconic. Like, I'm so chaotic. I'm literally thinking of changing the name of my podcast, but it's iconic. I mean, at least I think so. I got called Sigma and preppy by some kids I teach dance to the other day, and I was like, is that good? And they were like, yeah, miss. You're like, well, Sigma. And I was like, I'll take it. Also, I'm going down to London this weekend for the Arsenal women's match. So excited. I did put in the broadcast channel saying, if anyone else is going down and wants to meet up, let's have a little meet up before or after, or even like during the match if we're all sat near each other. Just because I think, you know, building that community within like the online space of the podcast and the broadcast channel is brilliant, but, you know, being able to extend that into like real life in-person meetups, I feel like is just gonna, you know, elevate it that bit more. So yeah, if you're coming along to the Arsenal women's match, the North London derby this weekend on Sunday, let me know. Is it on Sunday? Yeah, it's on Sunday. I just panicked then that was on Saturday. It's definitely on Sunday. I hope it's on Sunday, the 16th. That's a Sunday, just check my calendar. Yeah, come along, come say hi, let's be besties, because I want to make some new queer friends this year. But yeah, I'm going to stop blabbing, and I think it's about time we get into this week's episode. So guys, like I mentioned, this week's question of the week, I put a little poll into the group chat and you guys got to choose what you wanted, and you chose who was your gay awakening. I feel like we've done this question or a similar question before. I can't quite remember. I know we've definitely done Hear Me Out Cakes, and I think we've done like your gay crushes, but I don't remember if we've done gay awakening, but if we have, we're doing it again. It's always a fun one to discuss. So I'm going to give you mine first, and I need to preface this by saying I was a child at the time. I'm not having anyone come for me like they came for Eden Harvey. You should have come for Eden Harvey. She is a weirdo. I was a child at the time. So let me tell you the story, because you're all now thinking, what the hell is Juliet's gay awakening? So when I was younger at school, I went to see my friend in her school show. We were both at school. We were both in the same year group. I'm putting that out there. I was not an adult going to see a child's school show and crushing on somebody. But yeah, so I went to my friend's school show, and it was an all-girls school. So obviously some of the girls were dressed up as boys, as male characters, because they didn't have any males in the school. It was an all-girls school. And I fully fell in love with one of the girls who played the boy part. I don't even remember what musical it was, but I couldn't wrap my head around why I found this person so attractive, like why I thought it was so cool. They were so cool. Like I just couldn't wrap my head around it until I got older. And obviously my type in woman is like a more masculine woman who like dresses not like a boy, but you know, like in more like masculine and boy clothes. So that's when the dots clicked and I was like, oh, I think I had a crush on that person. Like after the show, like I found them through my friend's Instagram and like followed them, and I was like obsessed. But I didn't really fancy them in like normalness. Like they were very like a feminine person. I did not fancy them at all when they looked like themselves, but in this character I was like, holy shit, I'm just like, that's what I'm into. But obviously at the time I didn't realise. So I guess, was that actually then a gay awakening, because I didn't really realise why that person was like making me feel some kind of way back then. But yeah, that was sort of something for me. When I look back, I think, okay, yeah, that was definitely a crush. But yeah, let's see some of your guys' gay awakenings. My Mask Girlfriend. I love it. Kate Jackson from Charlie's Angels. Ellie from The Last of Us Part 2. When I used to watch PewDiePie play. Who is PewDiePie? I don't know, maybe they're a lesbian icon. Or Chloe Grace Mortez. I think there's a few of her in the comments. For just being a part of LGBT, I can't remember. My lesbian awakening was Malia G. Is that Malia? Malia? Malia. Malia? Mali? I don't know. Malia G. We'll go for that. Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. Margot Robbie playing Harley Quinn. I feel like I can get on board with that. Esmeralda. And she hit quite close to home with me with the line, what do they have against people who are different anyway? Much respect for this character. I'm just going to flip over TikTok accounts and get up the other load of answers. Here we go. Kate Winslet in Titanic. Also Lucy Liu, Liu, and Neve Campbell. The list is endless, to be honest. Hayley Kiyoko, especially in Lemonade Mouth and Wizards of Waverly Place. Yes to that one, 100%. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I wish in shows like that, when they had like a very obvious lesbian character, they actually like used that and, you know, took that character on a journey of queerness, and, you know, got them a girlfriend or had them at least explore their queer side. Because I think, again, that representation, having it growing up in literal like Disney and Nickelodeon and things like that, like Jade from Victorious, what an iconic shift she could have had from Beck to Tori, or, you know, someone like that. Like Sam from iCarly, like I feel like her getting with Freddie was just like, what? Like she could have been a great lesbian. Like I feel like we could have, like we were so close to lesbians, but we just didn't quite get there. But definitely I think having those, like, you know, like the very masculine dress, the short haircut, like that was like the perfect way to like make these characters lesbian. So hopefully, I mean, I think definitely now we are getting more of that. So hopefully there's just more to come, but I really agree with Hayley Kiyoko, 100%. The singers in the TATU, All the Things She Said music video, followed by Lindsay Lohan and Freaky Friday. I used to be obsessed with Freaky Friday and Lindsay Lohan, to be fair, so maybe she was a bit of a gay awakening for me. And I do feel like in Freaky Friday, you know, again, she had that sort of like rock star, like masculine sort of dressing style, so maybe that's what it was for a lot of us. Emma Watson, especially in Beauty and the Beast. I do not find Emma Watson attractive. Like, I think she's a beautiful woman, but like in terms of like sexually attractive, not at all, especially not as Princess Belle, but I'm so here for that for you. Cameron Diaz in Annie is Miss Hannigan. Again, I don't know if I find that like, oh my god, that's so fit, like that's really attractive, but I see it like she's a very beautiful woman. This one, again, I really agree with. Ricky from H2O. Again, I feel like we were robbed of Ricky being a lesbian. She just, you know, it's always like this sort of like really like carefree or like fuck it mindset characters that are like a bit out there, like getting in trouble, like being a bit of like a rebel, that looked a bit like lesbian, but we were just robbed of them lesbian storylines. Lana Parrilla and Jodie Whittaker. Olivia Benson from Law and Order. Alison from Pretty Little Liars, Santana from Glee, Emily and Alison from Pretty Little Liars together, or Selena Gomez, Ruby Rose specifically in Meg, and Selena Gomez in Wizards of Waverly Place. There we go. I think we have a few more from Instagram as well. Let me flip over to the Instagram, see if we have any more sent through. I'm sure we have a couple over there. Okay, we have Velma in the red latex and the 3 Hex Girls. I'm sure we had a lot of them on the Hear Me Out cakes. Or maybe that was the last time we did Gay Awakenings, but I definitely remember the name, the 3 Hex Girls. Keira Knightley in Pirates of the Caribbean. Adelaide Kane made me know, but major crush on Demi Lovato growing up. There we go. I think that is all of the responses this week. Let me just double check everywhere where there could be a response, but I think that was all of them. And they are some good ones. Like, I feel like definitely all the oh no, sorry, we have more. Keira Knightley. And then this is from one of our lovely gay listeners, Troy Bolton in High School Musical, but I never knew it. I kind of feel like as well, in every film where there's the Sharpays and the Gabriellas and they're almost fighting over a man and one's a bit nerdier, one's a bit cooler, how incredible would it have been for them to end up together? Do you know what I mean? I feel there's so many films where we were robbed of the 2 girls coming together. I'm sure there probably are films or series out there that I just haven't seen. So if you have any recommendations for series where we can watch things like that, I would love to see. Also, last week, remember we spoke about the sex lives of college girls and I said, I think the new season's coming out soon. The new season is out. It's out on ITVX. I told you it was on BBC, but it's on ITVX. So go and watch it. I am yet to watch it because me and Taylor are currently watching Olivia Attwood's Getting Filthy Rich, which I'm obsessed with. I just think it's such an interesting show. I just love watching shows where it's carefree. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to intently focus on a storyline. You can just sort of watch it. And I just think it's so interesting seeing all these different ways people make money. But anyway, without further ado, shall we get into some dilemmas? We have some good ones this week and some good stories. So let me find them all. Okay, here we go. I was together with my girlfriend for almost a year when we broke up. After 2 weeks of no contact, I texted her and we talked, and she told me she already lost feelings and doesn't love me anymore. That's after telling me that I mean the world to her and that us meeting was fateful, and telling me how in the future we'll be living together with a few dogs and cats and all that. Am I crazy, or is losing feelings in just 2 weeks absolutely insane and not possible? Is it a coping mechanism, or did she just never really love me? I don't know what to make of this. Yeah, that is crazy. If you were together for a year, this person's convinced that they're fully in love with you. They're telling you all of this stuff and then saying, did you say 2 weeks after? 2 weeks of no contact. You text her and she told you that she's lost feelings and she doesn't love you anymore. I feel like sometimes, possibly she did, genuinely have these feelings, but you were together for a year. So maybe she lost these feelings midway into the relationship. Possibly even sooner in, because sometimes, you get in that relationship. And I think some people, they love the idea of being in love, but you're not actually in love with that person. You're just in love with being in a relationship and going out on dates and, being in love, but you're not actually fully in love with the person. You just want to be in love. So you're in love with that idea of being in love. How many times have I said love? Oh my God. So maybe she emotionally checked out of the relationship 6 months, 7 months, 5 months, I don't know, into the relationship. So yeah, she's telling you 2 weeks after no contact when you reached out to her, yeah, I don't have those feelings anymore. And you're how can you lose that in 2 weeks? Possibly she had already lost those feelings much further, I can't speak, much longer ago, but you were still in that relationship, so you just didn't realise. But also maybe she just was never fully in love with you. Maybe she was just, in love with the idea of being in love, and she was telling you all of these things, but really she didn't fully mean it. Or she's just somebody that can mentally check out and she's broke up with you and gone, okay, that's it, I'm not in love with you anymore, I'm moving on. And I feel like there are people out there like that who can be so in love with you, and then as soon as that relationship's gone, they can just mentally take that step away and be like, okay, yeah, we're not together anymore, I'm not in love with you, the feelings have gone. And I feel like it's hard to be that type of person, but I guess some people just naturally are like wired that way. Like, I know for a while if me and Taylor broke up and had 2 weeks of no contact, like the feelings, they would not just go away at like the click of a finger. But I do think for some people it's probably a little bit easier for them to just mentally check out and move those feelings away. But I think, you know, that person's now in the past, you're not with them anymore, like you've broke up, obviously for a reason, because this person is telling you they've lost feelings after 2 weeks. So clearly you were never meant to really be together. So I think the best thing that you can do now is just move on with your life. And just, again, I think you need to go back to the no contact. You don't need to be reaching out to this person. They are like worthless and pointless to your life right now. You know, you spent a year with them, brilliant. You've maybe learned some life lessons from that relationship, but now it's time to forget about them and move on and look to the future and find someone that is going to have like all of these incredible feelings for you that aren't just going to go away with the snap of a finger. I hope that helps. But I hope you also know that like you are worthy of being loved and someone like fully loving you with like all of their being, because that person is out there for you. So you just have to maybe look a bit harder to find them. Moving on. OMG, hey, I'm new to the pod, found you on TikTok and fell in love instantly. Oh god, that makes me actually want to cry. That's so cute. Like, sometimes it's weird, like I feel like I make all these TikToks and like post all this stuff about the podcast, and then I'm like, oh, but they're probably never going to actually like come and listen to the podcast, but clearly people do, so thank you, that makes my heart so happy. Okay, here's my dilemma. I'm a second year at uni and decided to join the dance society this year with a friend that was in it last year. I used to dance when I was younger and it sounded fun, so I just went along. I started going to the classes and I noticed that one of the girls that teaches the classes is super cute. She seems super nice and I love the style she teaches. I realised after a few weeks that I have a crush on her, but I was too scared to say anything, so I just continued to stare at her in the class. Fast forward to January, I'm going through my previous matches on Hinge and come across a conversation with someone with the same name and think, that profile picture looks familiar. Of course, it turns out to be her. No way! I wonder if that's a bit of like invisible string, like bringing you back together, like going to these dance classes and stuff. That's crazy. Let's carry on. We had a brief conversation, I think this is on Hinge, a brief conversation about our mutual love for sad Taylor Swift songs, and nothing came about. But I'm not sure what to do. The conversation was almost a year ago, and I'm pretty sure she doesn't remember it, neither did I. So would it be weird to bring it up? I don't really speak to her, and I don't want to make things awkward as I love the classes she teaches, but would love to hear your take on this. I've had so many mixed signals from my friends, and I don't know what to do. I feel like the ship has sailed, but I can't help hope she'd still be willing to get to know me more. Thanks for reading this, even if it doesn't make on the podcast. I hope you have an amazing day. Well, here you are, you have made it to the podcast. Of course you did. I love this. Thank you for sending it in and for your kind words at the start as well. That literally makes my heart burst with joy. That's crazy. I think that's invisible string. Like, I'm sorry, but the fact that you matched on Hinge, like, yeah, nothing really came of it, but then like the universe has brought this person back into your life. Like, you didn't have to join the dance society. She didn't have to be a teacher at the dance society. You didn't have to love her classes. Like, you could have gone on the first week and thought, this is a load of absolute shit, like I'm not coming back. But like, something has brought you back to this person, back to their classes. You enjoy them, you want to keep going, and now you know that this person, like, I feel like if you didn't know this person was gay, it would be more difficult to move, like to get with them. But because you know she's gay, like, you've matched on a dating app, like, you both had your preferences set to women, so, and you've both matched, you both spoke, so you know that like you're both interested in dating another woman. It's not like you're trying to think, oh my god, is this person even gay, like is she fully straight? So I think that invisible string has definitely brought you back into each other's lives. I guess now it's just, how do you go about it? Like, I guess you could bring up the conversation, but then you might look a bit strange, like, oh my god, I was going through my Hinge messages last night and found you. Like, that might be a bit like, okay, stalker, that's weird. But you know, maybe there's like a funny way you can bring it up. Could you like mention something about these Taylor Swift songs that you like? Could you maybe like give her a song suggestion for one of the classes and be like, what about, I don't really listen to Taylor Swift, I don't think of a sad Taylor Swift song. I don't really know. But could you like suggest a Taylor Swift song for the class one week and be like, could you just like make it like really funny? And this would definitely keep you in her mind the rest of the day if you're like, I know you like sad Taylor Swift songs, can I suggest this one for the next class? And then she's going to be racking her brain thinking, how the hell does she know that I like sad Taylor Swift songs? And then hopefully she'll put the dots together in her mind and be like, oh my god, that's her that I matched with on that dating app. She remembers that. Is that fate? And hopefully then the ball's maybe then in her court to pick a song and teach a dance to it. And then maybe after that class, when you learn the dance, you're like, did you want to grab a coffee after? Like, I feel like sometimes in life, you just have to shoot your shot. And I feel like the universe is definitely like, I think it's giving you like the go ahead to go and do that, because it's, you know, you've matched on Hinge, you've connected over something, you've been brought back into each other's lives. I think that is definitely like a positive sign from the universe to just go for it. And, you know, maybe if you don't want to like bring up the Hinge thing, maybe you just shoot your shot again. Obviously you've been attracted to each other in the past because you matched on a dating app. I mean, you both swiped for each other. So do you like just go up to her after class one day and be like, let me know if this is too forward, but like I'd love to take you out for a drink? Like, just shoot your shot. The worst thing she can be like is, no, I don't date my students. But obviously she's not like a teacher, she's just like leading these dance society classes. So I guess, yeah, the worst thing she can be like is, no, I'm sorry, I'm not interested, like I'm in a relationship now. But even so, it could just be like a nice friendship out of it. Like, you really like this person's dance classes, you both like Taylor Swift, like could you start a Taylor Swift society? Maybe that's how you do it. You start a new Taylor Swift sad song society at the uni, and she comes and joins, and you're like, oh my god, I matched with the girl on Hinge one time and we connected over sad Taylor Swift songs, and she's like, oh my god, me too. And you're like, oh my god, did we match with you on Hinge? And you're like, oh my god, yeah, like, isn't this crazy? And you've like planned this whole thing out. But I think definitely shoot your shot and just go for it. But please keep us updated. Let us know what she says. Let us know how it goes. And fingers crossed that it works out and you get to have a lovely life together. Okay, moving on. Straight, in quotation marks. Straight best friend I've been in love with for years, flirts with me constantly, but I don't think she even realises. Oh, that's a tricky one. I feel like sometimes it's really hard, especially with like best friendships, to like find the line between a friendship and something more. Like, I used to have a friend when I was at college, and like when I look back, sometimes I think like, okay, like did every best friendship duo do things like that? Like, was I like being led on? Was I leading this person on without like knowing? Because I genuinely just thought it was a friendship, but then when you're out of that friendship in that situation, you look back and you think, okay, was that actually normal? Like, or was there maybe something more to it that we just didn't realise at the time? So I feel like sometimes it is difficult to draw that line, especially when you're so close with someone. You're like with your best friends, like you share clothes, you share beds, you sometimes kiss, you hug, you do things that you do in a relationship. So it is difficult to, you know, decipher what is what. And maybe this friend genuinely has no idea that they are flirting with you, and they're just being really close with you, and they're just, you know, trying to show their affection for you as a friend. But obviously for you it's difficult because you're saying that you've been in love with this person for years and they're flirting with you. Is obviously like, you're like, but is this person trying to give you a sign? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm assuming they know that you're gay. Are they trying to, you know, show you, be like, I actually think I like you too? Or are they genuinely just not realising that they're flirting with you? It's really difficult. Like, I feel like maybe like going out, getting a bit of alcohol in the systems might help, because you can then maybe like say something, be like, oh my god, like I've been in love with you for years. And like, because I feel like the good thing with alcohol is you can either, if it goes wrong, you can pretend you don't remember it the next day. You can be like, oh, I was so drunk, I don't remember anything I said last night. Or if it goes well, like you've got that like courage, that, was it like liquid courage, to like take it that step further. Do you know what I mean? So maybe you need to like go out together or get them really drunk, and then she can open up to you and be like, I've been meaning to tell you something, I'm in love with you. And then you can be like, are you serious? And then she can be like, yeah, and then you can kiss and then go back to your house and do all those fun things and then be in love forever. But yeah, it's really difficult, and I'm trying, like, I don't really know what advice as such I can give you, because I feel like it's very like circumstantial. Like every best friendship duo is going to be different, and you know, there's probably best friendship duos out there where one is gay and one isn't gay, and one's flirting with one because they actually want to be together, or they just don't realise that they're doing it. So maybe, you know, do you just speak to this friend and be like, listen, like, I feel like you're trying to flirt with me, like, is it genuine, or are you just like taking the piss, because like my feelings are at risk here. Wishing you the best of luck. I hope it goes well. I hope your feelings don't get hurt in the process, but I guess maybe put those walls in place to protect your feelings if you feel like you need to. Okay, next one. When I was dating my first girlfriend, out of the blue, one of my friends came up to me and asked how I was handling the breakup. Sorry, what? I'd be like, handling the what? The breakup? When we haven't broken up. Turns out my girlfriend had been telling people she was in love with a boy from another school. No. And failed to clue me in on this. Everyone had assumed we broke up before I even knew. I'm shook. What the hell? That is insane. How can you not voice these feelings to someone? Like, how can you not just say, listen, I don't know if I'm like fully feeling this relationship anymore, like, let's call it quits. Surely it's like, do you know what I mean? Is it not easier just to say that than to go around, especially telling your friends that like, I'm in love with the boy from the other school, like, oh, does Sasha know? Oh yeah, Sasha knows. And then, oh, how are you dealing with the breakup? Are you okay? You're like, the what? The breakup? We haven't broken up. That's crazy. I mean, I guess at least you got the heads up from your friends. Like, at least you know, when the conversation eventually did happen, at least you were, you know, a bit prepared for it. But that's insane. Like, what do you even say? Like, I wonder if like you went up to this person and were like, oh, so I hear you're in love with fucking Josh from the other school. Like, what's going on there? Or if you just let her like come clean and tell you, and then you were like, yeah, I already knew. Thanks a lot. That is madness. I hope you are healed now. That's all I can say. I hope you have healed and you are being able to move on with your life and finding a girlfriend that wants to be with somebody with a vagina and not a penis. Anyway, shall we do one more for today? I think so. Sounds like a good plan. I've been with my girlfriend for a month and have been spending the majority of my time with her, obviously. My best friend, who's bi, recently broke up with her boyfriend. I've been there for her through it, but I want to prioritise my relationship. I don't see a problem with that. Your friend's broken up with her boyfriend, you've been there for her, you've offered her support, but you're in a new relationship, so you're wanting to prioritise that. I don't see a problem with that personally. My best friend has now been ignoring my texts, and every time I ask to meet up, she's busy, but I don't think she actually is. What else can I do other than reach out and tell her that I'm here for her without my girlfriend feeling that I'm not giving her enough of my time and attention? Thanks, girl. I love the pod. That is a bit of a pickle that you've got yourself in there, isn't it? Because obviously, you know, you've had this friendship for I don't know how many years, but like, you've got a good friendship with this person. You want to be able to be there and support them. But at the same time, you're building this new relationship with somebody that you care about and obviously can see a future with and have feelings for, so you want to be able to, you know, be there for them without them feeling like, why is so and so, like, do you know what I mean? You don't want them to be getting jealous, be like, why is she spending so much time with this person, especially when we know that this person is bisexual, so there could be the chance that like there could be some feelings from her towards you. Lots of best friends falling in love with best friends drama, isn't there today? Yeah, I feel like, you know, you're reaching out, you have reached out and you're continuing to reach out. I feel like that's all you can do. I think the only other thing you can do if this person is literally ignoring your text is show up at their house and be like, right bitch, I'm taking you to fucking Costa Coffee and we're going to have a chin wag and a catch up and, you know, hopefully help you like come to terms with your feelings. Like, I'm here for you. I'm showing you that I'm here for you. Can you like send her a card and some flowers to her house? Like, is there something you can do to like show her that you care without like, in a way that she like can't just ignore and not reply to the message of, do you know what I mean? But I think, you know, you're doing the right thing. You're in this new relationship. You want to prioritize that. You want to be there for your partner. So I think, you know, all you can really do is be there for your partner, reassure them. And you can be honest with your new girlfriend and say like, listen, my best friend's going through really shit time at the minute. I want to be there to support them. Obviously, I want to also be able to give you as much of my like love and affection and attention as possible, but I might need to give her, you know, 10% of that for the next month or so while she's healing. Or I don't really know what else to suggest. I feel like that's probably the best option. Just like be open and honest with your girlfriend. But if your best friend is still just ignoring your texts, I feel like just carry on doing what you're doing, you know, give that love and attention to your girlfriend. And then with the friend, just keep sending these olive branches out and, you know, offering her coffees or flowers or hugs or whatever she needs, so she knows that you're here for her. Because I feel like she's probably not annoyed at you. She's probably just, she's come out of a relationship, you've got into a new relationship, and she was probably like, you know, maybe excited to be single together, but you're in this new relationship, so now she's sort of navigating single life on her own because you're off the dating scene, you're like loved up, and I said coupled up, that's very Love Island, you're like loved up with your new girlfriend. So I can understand like what the friend is going to. She's upset, she needs somebody to be there with her, but it's not like you haven't offered to be there. She's just sort of not taking that olive branch. So maybe you just need to, you know, keep messaging. And obviously I understand it's probably like annoying for you to message and not get the response, but just to show your friend that like you are still here for them no matter what. Like it probably isn't going to go unnoticed, and then like when she's healed and like gone through this, you'll be able to look back and laugh and be like, oh god, do you remember when like I literally ignored you for like 2 months when I broke up with my boyfriend? Like, you'll be able to laugh about it, I'm sure. But yeah, hopefully it all works out okay for you and your girlfriend and for you and your friend. And I feel like that's a nice little place to wrap up this week's episode. So guys, thank you so much for being here. Who knows, maybe next week we're going to have a new name and a new logo and maybe a new setup. I don't know. It's very like, I don't want to rush into things. I just want to see how we go. I just want to do what's right for the podcast, what's going to be the best thing to, you know, continue to grow it, and the best for you guys to, you know, just get the best experience out of listening to and being a part of this community that we have going on. But I love and appreciate you all so much. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Everything will be linked in the description. Leave us a review, subscribe, give us a like, a download, literally whatever you can do to help boost up the podcast. I am so eternally grateful for. And I will speak to you all in next week's episode. I love you all so much. Bye!